Primeval, or Primeval Kill as it's stupidly called in the UK, is a 2007 creature feature directed by Michael Cattleman. It follows journalists Tim and Stephen, who were sent to the war-torn African country of Burundi to document and capture a killer crocodile of local legend. Now before I get into this movie, I just want to ask if you could please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. It would really help me out, so thanks. So this film got a lot of bad rep when it came out, because a lot of people thought it was going to be a serial killer movie, and were apparently disappointed to find out that it was a giant crocodile movie. To my strange little brain, this doesn't make much sense at all. I mean, how can they be disappointed that it was a giant croc movie? I was like, 2 giant croc movies in 1 year? Oh yeah! The other one is Rogue, by the way. Link to my review of that one below. So let's dive into this murky croc-infested river and talk about Primeval. There will be full spoilers ahead, so be warned. The movie starts with a forensic team who have uncovered a number of mass graves in Burundi, which is the result of a local warlord being a proper bad man. Little Miss Forensic then decides to dig up what looks like another grave, but when she digs her spade into the ground it starts to shake, and she is suddenly dragged screaming into a nearby river, where she receives the big chomp from our unknown assailant. It's the crocodile. You're welcome. We then meet Tim, who is forced by his boss to travel to Africa with his colleague Aviva, who I'm just going to call Car Insurance. Their job is to document and capture the legendary crocodile of local legend, Gustav, who has racked up a considerable body count. To make matters worse, however, the country of Burundi is controlled by a dangerous warlord known as Little Gustav, so the team must be extra careful not to get involved with other local goings-on. But of course, they do. Silly buggers, eh? Upon arriving, they meet their contact Harry, along with the crocodile expert Matt, and local hunter Jacob Krieg, played by the brilliant Jürgen Prochnow. After getting high with the local shaman, the team set about preparing a trap for the killer croc. The trap consists of an enormous cage which is placed at the water's edge, and contains a goat covered in a mixture of blood and piss. Excuse me for a moment.
Oh god. Oh, even though it's on a film, I can smell it.
While they're waiting for nightfall, Stephen has a big brain moment and decides to wander off alone into the wilderness with his camera. What he doesn't expect to see, however, is the shaman and his family getting executed by an obscured little Gustav and his men.
Oh, this little Gustav is a reach shit.
Upon filming this travesty, Stephen returns to the team and shows him what he saw, but it's decided that as awful as it is, there's ultimately nothing they can do about it. As day turns to night, there is still no sign of Gustav. That is until a local lad named Jojo decides to tempt fate and hops into the croc cage trying to lure in the beast. Unfortunately for Jojo, the croc unexpectedly attacks from the side, knocking the cage and Jojo into the water. Luckily, the team turn up and Jacob scops a grenade into the water which scares off the croc, and Tim jumps in to save Jojo's life. When asked why he got into the cage, he says that he thought that if he helped them catch the croc, then maybe they'd take him to America with them.
Right, if there's anyone I want to survive the film now, it's Jojo. And Stephen. And Car Insurance. And Tim. Oh, I like them all, okay?
Before the group can recover from their croc encounter, though, Car Insurance is assaulted by one of the supposed bodyguards, who it turns out works for Little Gustav. But luckily, Car Insurance is unintentionally saved by the giant croc when it bursts into the tent and goes absolutely apeshit on Mr. Touchy-Feely. The other bodyguard turns on the group too, and it looks like they're about to be executed, but then MVP Jojo shoots the bastard, saving everyone. Yay! Then Stephen delivers the best line in the movie.
If I have to shove you up my ass to get you through customs, you are going to America.
With things having gone to shit, the group decide to take refuge in a wooden hut out on the water, because that's clearly the safest place to take refuge from an aquatic reptile. And surprising only the least attentive of micro squirrels, Gustav proceeds to wreck the hut, and in the process Jacob gets munched into chunky, mushy Prochnow chunks. The next day the group spot a helicopter which could fly them all to safety, but then little Gustav's men turn up with some firepower and put a stop to that. Oh yeah, and Matt gets hit by their truck and then is shot to bits. Jojo gets shot, the baddies chase the goodies for a while before crashing their truck. And Tim fights the big henchman, but does a right shit job of it. Thankfully, Car Insurance... Actually, no, I'm just going to call her Aviva. I think that joke's run its course now. Aviva steps in and not only saves Tim, but gives him tinnitus for the rest of his life. How thoughtful. Stephen, on the other hand, finds himself lost in a swamp, and unfortunately for him, the blood dripping from his wounds attracts our unfriendly neighbourhood crocodile, who proceeds to chase him relentlessly, until we eventually cut back to Tim, Aviva and Jojo.
But what about Stephen? They wouldn't kill Stephen, would they?
Anyway, Harry turns up and is all like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're okay. By the way, I'm little Gustav and I want the footage that Stephen recorded of me executing the shaman. Thank you." Tim and Aviva are all like, "Ooh, you bastard." But then Tim comes up with a sneaky plan. He shows Harry the tracking device Matt placed on Gustav earlier.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. Stupid me.
So he tells Harry that this will lead him to the camera, so they set off to find it. When they arrive at the destination, Tim takes Jacob's flask of blood and piss and carries it with him, as Harry sends Tim and the henchman to find the camera. Here we get to the only part of the film that I don't like, because Tim finds Gustav's den and Stephen's lifeless body along with it. Oh, I really wish they didn't kill Stephen. He was such a likeable character. But hey, it is how it is, and Jojo's still alive in the car, so that's fine, I guess. So Tim kills the henchman before returning to Harry, and Aviva then covers Harry in the piss blood.
I think I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay.
And Gustav appears out of the reeds, smelling that it's chow time. And in one of the greatest Croc kill scenes ever, Gustav tears Harry a new one before popping his head like a melon. Take that, you villain! But they ain't out of the woods yet, as Tim gets the car stuck. The clumsy bugger. Gustav takes advantage of this goof and smashes his head through the back window saying, "Aya!" which wakes up Jojo in the most terrifying way imaginable. Tim redeems his clumsiness though, as he stabs the Croc in the mouth, which makes him retreat, and our heroes finally manage to escape. To add a cherry on top of this lusciously creamy cake, we see our survivors on a flight back to America, including Jojo, and the little dog from earlier, which I forgot to mention. Yay! End of the movie. Well, actually, there's another little bit where we see Gustav is still killing the residents of Burundi, so it ain't all sunshine and rainbows. End of movie. For real this time.
You know, I'd really like to know what people don't actually like about this movie, because, honestly, for me, there isn't very much.
It's got some great Croc carnage. It's really funny in places, and it's well-paced and exciting. I don't think it's as good as Rogue, or as much fun as the original Lake Placid, which probably puts it in third place as far as giant Croc movies go. Overall though, I think Primeval is a thoroughly underrated movie, and is not to be missed if you like a nice big Croc.
So, Primeval, what did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you loathe it? Let me know in the comments below, and if you could please like and subscribe to my channel, it would make me very happy. But above all else, thanks for watching.